Hi everyone, welcome back to yoga. My name is Ashley and today we are not doing any standing poses. Today we are working towards Lotus pose. So we'll be doing lots of hip openers, lots of hip mobility exercises. So even if you don't actually get into Lotus pose entirely, you're still getting so many benefits by doing this practice. Benefits for your hips, benefits for your back, and benefits for your spirit, of course. So I hope that you enjoyed this class. Let's go ahead and get started. Feel free to close your eyes or gaze at a point out in front of you and connect to your natural breath. Just take this moment here to acknowledge yourself just as you are in this moment, however you're showing up to your practice today. Just allowing yourself to be as you are, where you are. Not forcing anything, whether that's a mood, a posture, and so on. Take a full breath in through your nose and exhale with a sigh. Inhale again. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And gently open your eyes. Please begin on all fours, hands and knees. Line up your wrists with your shoulders, knees with your hips. Then just begin to round your spine, starting from your lowest vertebrae and moving all the way up your spine, bringing your chin toward your chest for cat pose. Then inhaling, reverse the movement, curl into your lower, middle, upper back, lift your chin, and broaden your sitting bones apart. Just moving at your own pace with your own breath. Inviting your body to open a little more with each breath. After a few rounds, feel free to move your hips, your shoulders, head, and neck more organically. Maybe swinging hips side to side, roll your shoulders, roll your head. Just do what feels good in your body. Come into a downward facing dog. Index fingers point straight ahead. Curl your toes. Lift your knees. Reach your thighs back. Spread your fingers wide. Strong, steady base on hands and feet. Feel free to keep your knees slightly bent to start, or work your heels back and toward the floor. Feel free to shake your head, releasing any tension that may still be residing in your neck. Move your rib cage back and reach your tailbone gently toward your heels. Push evenly through hands and feet so your hips get lighter. Lower your knees back to the floor and step your right foot outside your right hand. Try to get your back thigh more perpendicular, straight up and down, and your right shin the same, straight up and down. So you're at more of a 90-degree angle. Then from here you can stay or lower your forearms to either a block or to the floor directly underneath you. Going for a big stretch to the inner thigh muscle on the right leg. Push your forearms down and forward, your right foot down and back, and squeeze your left knee in and toward the right. Place your hands back to the floor, push yourself back up, then step your right knee back. Step your left knee outside your left hand. Get your left shin and your right thigh more straight up and down. Push your left foot down and back, right knee down and forward, and then slowly make your way down a little lower, maybe to your block, maybe to the floor. Maybe drop your head or keep your chin slightly lifting, and squeeze your legs down and toward each other. Keep your breath slow and steady. Take your hands back to the floor. Come up to all fours, hands and knees. Then step your right foot outside your right hand one more time. Slide your left knee back a few inches. Then take your forearms to the floor again. Again, you can use a block, slightly different than the last one. We're just going for a little bit more stretch also now on the back leg, so the front of your back leg here. Then melt your heart a little bit forward and down as you move your shoulders back, and feel free to drop your head. Squeeze your front foot and your back knee down and toward each other, and maybe add in a little bit of motion by swinging your hips side to side if that feels okay for you today. And then place your hands back to the floor, come back to all fours. Step your left foot outside your left hand. Then this time slide your right knee back again. And then maybe take your forearms down to the floor and hold here. Push elbows down and back, left foot down and back, right knee down and forward. Maybe drop your head. And maybe add a little bit of rocking motion in the hips. We really want our hips to be open for lotus pose because lotus pose requires a lot of rotation and movement of the hip joint. But like I said, just by doing all the prep work, you're getting so many benefits all the same. Push down through your hands, come back up. Come back to all fours. Then lower down onto your belly. From here, take your left forearm parallel to the short edge of your mat, elbow underneath your shoulder. Bend your right knee, then reach back, grab your right foot from the inner edge for half frog. Pull your right heel toward your outer right hip. Maybe turn your right elbow up, fingers forward over your toes, and then step your right hip back to the floor. Pull heel and hip toward each other actively. Even push foot against your hand, even though your hand is pushing down into your foot. Try to turn your torso more forward. Keep your left leg, the straight leg, active and squeezing in toward the midline. Lower your foot. Take your right forearm out in front of you. Bend your left knee, reach back, grab your foot. Pull your heel toward your outer left hip. Left elbow pointing up, left hip down. Maybe turn your fingers over your toes. Push right forearm down and back to help you lift your chest forward and up. And hold here, keep your right leg active, squeezing in. Lower your foot. Come all the way down, all the way to your chest. Just take a moment here, resting your forehead on your forearms. Maybe rock your head side to side, massage your eyebrow line, or maybe your third eye area. Lift your head back up for belly down, Reverse stretch. Take your left hand next to your left side of your chest and your right arm out to the right, palm flat. Move your right armpit back and then roll onto your outer right hip. Scoot your hips slightly forward here. Feel free to stay working here or lift left leg, bend your knee, and then open your left hip on top of your right hip to step your foot to or toward the floor behind you. Feel free to drop your ear to the floor. Just take a moment here. Deepen and lengthen your breath. Untwist. Come back to center. Take your right hand next to your chest, left arm straight out to the left, palm flat. Move your left shoulder back and then roll to your left. Scoot your hips slightly forward. Lift right leg, bend your knee, step your foot behind you. Feel free to drop your ear to the floor. And breathe here. Slowly untwist. Come back to center. Cobra pose. Place your hands next to your chest. Push your hips down and forward. Move your shoulders back. Push hands down and back. Pull yourself forward and up. Lift your sternum. Curl back. Maybe lift your chin a little higher. Shoulders away from ears. Squeeze elbows toward your ribs. Lower down. And then push down. Curl your toes under. Lift up to plank pose, top of a push-up. And press back to downward facing dog. Take your right foot outside your right hand. Lower your back knee to the floor. Turn your right toes out slightly for twisted monkey lunge. Take right hand to right thigh. Move your left shoulder back and twist to the right. Feel free to stay here. Lift your top arm up. Reach back, bend your knee, and grab the outer edge of your left foot. Pull heel and hip toward each other. Then keep twisting. Lift up through your sternum and even curl back for a back bend. Breathe. Don't hold your breath. Lower your foot, turn your toes forward, and press back downward dog. Step your left foot outside your left hand. Lower your back knee to the floor, turn left toes out, right hand forward to the right, left hand to left thigh, twist to the left, squeeze your foot and knee toward each other, lift your sternum, stay here, or lift your left arm up, reach back and grab the outer edge of your foot, pull heel and hip toward each other, twist to the left, lift through your sternum, move shoulders back, curl back. Untwist, downward facing dog. Step your right foot forward, outside your right hand. Turn your right toes out slightly, then turn your outer back foot to the floor, and then slide your back foot back toward the back of your mat. And if you need to, you can slide your front foot a little more toward the back of your mat as well to lower your hip. You can also walk your left hand forward for a little bit more mobility to be able to reach your hip down. Then take your right arm on top of your right knee. Lift up through your sternum, push through your bottom arm, reach to the top of your head, and then move your shoulders back, gaze beyond your right shoulder or at your right fingers. Push down through your outer left foot. Lower your hands, push down through your feet, lift your hips, press back to down dog. Step your left foot outside your left hand. And then flip to your outer right foot as you turn your left toes out. Take your right hand a little more forward. And then slowly take your right outer hip to the floor. Take your left arm on top of your left knee. Watch your right shoulder from pulling up into your ear. Push it away from your ear to push your arm longer. Extend your left arm beyond your knee. Gaze beyond your fingertips or out to the left. Push through your outer right foot. Lower your hand. Push down through your hands and feet to lift your hips. Go back to down dog. From here, walk your feet in a couple of inches. Bend your knees and then cross your right ankle on top of your left knee for a figure four dog. Push hands down and forward to reach your heart, your chest toward your shin, and sit a little more toward your heel. Push arms longer. Hold the pose, not your breath. Let go of your leg, uncross, and then take the other leg on top, left leg on top of right. Clamp your heel closed, widen left knee to the left, bend your right knee. Take your chest a little closer to your leg, push hands down and forward, and breathe here. Uncross your leg, bring feet together and lower your knees, curl your toes under, walk your hands back and have a seat on your feet. Just slide your knees back until they don't slide back anymore. Interlace fingers in front of your heart, clamp fingers closed, take backs of hands on top of head, pull elbows wide, then reach your arms towards straight while you rotate your upper inner arms back toward the wall behind you. Root to rise, rooting down through the lower half of your body, rising through the upper half. Take your hands back to the floor. Lean forward and slide your right knee towards your right wrist. Point your right toes toward your left hip for pigeon prep, and then slide your left knee back a few more inches. Squeeze your knees down and toward each other, then maybe lower your forearms to the floor. Just take a few breaths here, slow and steady breaths. Hold here, keeping your legs active as you let your torso, your eyes, your jaw, your neck relax. Stay working here, lift your torso up a few inches or all the way up, straight up and down. Press your tailbone forward, lift your torso forward and up, move your ribs slightly back, then breathe here, stay here, or take your right hand in front of your shin, reach back and grab your left foot from the inner edge for quad stretch here as well, and pull your heel towards your outer left hip. Turn your left elbow up, fingers over your toes, and try to turn your torso more square to the front. Lifting your sternum, doing an upper back bend. You can pull your throat back, head back, lift your chin. Lower your foot. Downward dog to switch to the other side. Slide your left knee behind your left wrist. Point your left toes toward your right knee. Then slide your right knee back. Squeeze knees in. Forward fold, a few more breaths. Stay working here. Lift up a little bit or lift up all the way. Place left hand in front of your left shin. Push it down and forward. Bend your right knee. Reach back, grab your foot. Quad stretch. Pull heel and outer hip toward each other. Maybe turn fingers over toes, elbows up. Move left hip back, right hip forward. squaring up more toward the front of your mat. Lower your foot. And then come back to all fours, hands and knees. Then turn on your mat so you're facing one of the long edges. And then take your knees really wide. Turn your toes out so you're in that frogger pose is what I like to call it. And then lower your forearms to the floor if the floor is close enough to you. Otherwise, stay up on your hands. And the idea is to push your hips back toward your heels rather than leaning your hips forward. So you're really trying to increase the stretch on your inner thighs, your groin area. And just take a moment here and breathe. Clamp your heels toward your hips just a little bit, not super hard. And just breathe naturally or lengthen and deepen your breath. Either push down through your arms to take weight out of your legs, then walk your knees together, or you can pull yourself forward and just slide your legs back and then walk your knees in, and then come down onto your bottom, extending your legs straight out in front of you. Dandasana, staff pose. Walk your bottom flesh back a little bit. Make sure your heels, your knees, and your hips are about in the same line, or bring them together. Then from here, take fingertips outside your hips, lift your lower back in and up. If your lower back is rounding here and you need something to sit up on, you can always sit up on a block, a bolster, something that'll elevate your pelvis to get your lower back to curve in and to sit your bottom on the sitting bones rather than on the sacrum. That's all very important for any of the seated pose work we're doing today. Take your right knee to the right and then turn it out, and then take your right foot to the floor so your heel is up into your inner thigh crease, or your right foot to your inner left thigh, like tree pose. So choose one of those, and then whenever you're ready, turn to the left and fold heart first, head last over your left leg. Always feel free to bend a straight leg if it's a forward fold, that you're folding over that leg so that you can get rib cage and thigh to touch for a safer round of your spine. Maybe take forehead all the way to your knee or somewhere along the way. And breathe here. Actively clamp your right heel in toward your right hip so you're keeping that leg active, and actively push your outer right foot into the floor. And that'll help train your ankle, train your muscles of your foot to do what it needs to do in lotus pose to keep your knees happy. That'll also keep your ankles happy too. Slowly sit back up. Twist to the right, take your left hand to your right hand to the right side of your hips, and then stay here or lift your right arm up, point your palm toward the left, and then lean to the left. Feel free to stay like this or place left hand or forearm to the floor inside your leg, or you can take it all the way down into the variation to grab your foot. Otherwise, be here. Push your right arm longer. Push your left arm into your left thigh. Push your thigh back against your arm. Keep pushing your outer right foot into the floor. Turn and twist yourself more toward the ceiling. Lift your chin. Inhale, come back up. Stay long in your spine. Extend your right leg forward. Take your left knee to the left. Go either at 90 degrees or wider. Then from here, make sure your flesh is even underneath you. Turn towards your right leg and fold forward, grabbing shin, ankle, or foot. And push through your outer left foot into the floor as you fold the whole time. Maybe forehead to knee or towards knee. And breathe here. Janu Shirshasana. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Slowly sit up. Twist to the left, right hand to thigh, left hand to the floor behind you. Gaze beyond your left shoulder. Lift your left arm up. Reach toward your right leg as you twist to the left. Feel free to stay here. Take right hand or forearm to the floor inside your leg. Keep extending up and over, moving your right shoulder back as you twist to the left. Inhale, slowly come back up. Extend your left leg forward, Dandasana. Then lean back, bend your knees, rock forward, cross your ankles, come into plank to down dog. Then shift forward to plank pose, lower halfway down, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog, straight arms, hips almost touching the floor. Legs straight, throw your head back. Downward dog. Step or jump forward through your hands and sit back down. Take your legs straight out in front of you. Now from here, pull your right knee in. Place your right foot flat on the floor inside your left leg so your knee points up. And then take your left hand to the left. Right arm inside your leg, grab shin, ankle, or foot. Push foot in a hand, hand in a foot. Lift your lower back in and up. And then widen your right elbow to the right to pull yourself more forward. Feel free to stay working here. Take your left arm under your right arm and grab your outer shin with your left hand. And maybe pull yourself in a little deeper so your armpit and knee are together. If you have your armpit and your inner shin, your knee touching, feel free to stay here or take your right arm to the right. Pull your shoulder back into the socket, point your thumb down, bend your elbow, and maybe bind your hands, sliding your hand up toward your outer right hip, taking left arm back, point thumb down, bend your elbow. Maybe clasp your fingers outside your right hip. Make sure you squeeze your knee into your arm and you pull your shoulder back against your knee. And then feel free to take forehead to knee and breathe here. Meridians variation. Inhale, lengthen your spine, release your hands. Lift up, grab your shin or your foot, and then sit all the way up. Extend your right leg straight. Pull your left knee in, place your foot flat on the floor. Make sure you're sitting on your sitting bones. Take your left arm inside your left leg, grab your foot, your shin, or your ankle. Stay working here, grab your left shin with your right hand, pull yourself a little more through. Stay working here or keep your shoulder pulling back and against the socket and then pull your left arm to the left, thumb down, bend your elbow, slide hand up to outer hip. Take right arm to the right, thumb down, bend your elbow, maybe grab your fingers. Move your shoulder back against your leg as you squeeze your leg into your shoulder and then fold forward, forehead towards your knee. Inhale, lengthen. Grab your shin or your foot. Then sit all the way up, extend your legs straight. Lean back, bend your knees, flip over, down dog. Plank pose, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Vinyasas keep us from getting too bored sitting on our bottoms, but also it helps to relieve the lower back as well. Step or jump forward through your hands and sit back down. Extend your legs out in front of you. Half cow face, pull your right knee towards you, and then pull your heel toward your hip. This is where it starts to get similar to what you're gonna do in Lotus. So you wanna keep your heel connected to your hip as you rotate your outer hip to the right, and then grab onto your ankle with both of your hands like so. And then just turn your knee more to the right, and now slide your foot over and outside your hip. So you're trying to point your knee on top of your knee. That may or may not happen. You might be here, or you might be here, and that's fine too. If you're more like this, pull your knee up toward your chest and clamp your heel toward your hip. If you're here, try to squeeze your knees more to stacked, and then use your left hand to hold your right ankle in place and then squeeze your shin into your outer left IT band. And then from here, you can stay upright or forward fold for holy cow pose or half cow face. Grab shin, ankle, or foot with your right hand as you fold. Next inhale, slowly lengthen your spine. Sit back up. Keep your right ankle outside your left leg. Just slide the foot flat on the floor. Then take your left elbow around your right knee, hook your fingers, and pull your palms toward your chest as you twist your torso to the right. You can totally hang out in this position or take right hand to the floor behind you. Lift your left arm up on an inhale, and then twist all the way to armpit outside knee. Lift your lower back in and up. Push your right arm straight like a second spine, and push elbow into leg, leg into elbow. Gaze beyond your right shoulder for another Meridians variation, almost like Ardha Matsyendrasana, only this straight leg in Ardha Matsyendrasana would be bent and outside your right hip if we were in that pose. Untwist, gaze forward, extend your right leg forward, keep your spine long, pull your left knee in, clamp your heel toward your hip, lean back, grab your ankle with both hands. Then flip your knee out to the side using your hip. Keep your heel connected to your sitting bone area. And then turn your knee more out. And then once you can, slide your ankle over your thigh and outside your hip. Again, if you're up here, stay here and just pull chest and shin or chest and knee toward each other. Otherwise, turn your knee to face forward. Try to stack your knee on top of your bottom knee. And then from here, use your right wrist in front of your ankle to hold it down, but keep squeezing your left heel in so that you're getting pressure on your right IT band. Stay here or pull forward, grab shin, ankle, or foot with your left hand, and fold here. Next inhale, slowly lift up. Turn your left knee to face up, but keep your foot outside your right thigh. Lift your lower back in and up. Take right elbow around your left knee. Hook your fingers. Pull your palms in toward your chest. Twist to the left. Take left hand to your floor behind you. Take your right arm up and then twist. Armpit outside your knee. Feel free to use your hand to get yourself a little deeper. Then put your left hand back. Straighten your left arm. Lift up through your sternum. Move your shoulders back. Gaze to the left. Untwist. Extend your leg forward. Dandasana. Then lean back one more time. Cross your ankles. Vinyasa. Shift forward plank. Lower halfway down. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Step or jump forward through your hands. Sit down on your mat. Extend your legs forward. All right, here we are. Pull your right knee in toward your torso. Lean back. Keep heel connected to your sitting bone area. Turn your right knee out using your hip only. Hold on to your ankle with both hands. And then slide your foot on top of your left thigh. This might be where you stay. Sometimes it's helpful to grab a block and just put it underneath your knee. You can use a blanket, anything at all, and you can take that block to any height like so, and that works out. So if your knee cannot come down like this, which a lot of people cannot, doesn't make you any better or any worse, whether you can or can't. So wherever your leg gets, get there, get a prop under your knee if you need to, and then point your left toe straight up. And then push your outer right foot into the top of your left thigh. It might feel uncomfortable. I don't want it to be painful, but it might feel like a deep tissue massage, and that's okay. Now from here, squeeze your knees toward each other to really turn on your inner thigh muscles, really engage toward the midline. You can totally hang out here and stay, or take your right arm to the right, point your thumb down, swing it behind you, bend your elbow. You can use your left hand to help grab your right foot with your right hand from behind your back. So you're here. Whether you have your foot or not, feel free to fold forward if it feels appropriate for you today. You might just stay up in your seated up variation. Otherwise, fold forward. Push your left heel down and toward you, just like Paschimottanasana, only you have one leg in half lotus. And breathe here. Inhale, lengthen your spine, slowly sit back up. Let go of your foot, unwrap your arm, then lift your knee up, extend your right leg forward, flare your toes, tone your thigh, lift your kneecap. Second side, pull your left knee in, pull a heel toward your sitting bone, lean back a little, point your toes, then flip your knee out to the left using your hip, grab onto your ankle with both hands, and then slide your foot up on top of your thigh. Feel free to prop it, totally optional. Otherwise, let your knee come all the way down as far as it'll go. Point your right toe straight up. Push your outer left foot into the top of your thigh. Stay working here, squeezing your knees toward each other. Maybe wrap your left arm behind you. Use your elbow or your hand to help your left hand grab your foot and hold here. Keep lifting your lower back in and up. Stay here or forward fold, whether you have the bind or not, and breathe here. Inhale, lengthen. Let go of your foot. Extend your left leg forward. Tone your thigh, lift your kneecap, flare your toes. Then lean back on your hands. Take them about 8 to 10 inches behind you. Fingers pointing out, thumbs pointing forward. Then bend your right knee. Place your right ball of your foot level with your left knee. And then place your left foot level with your right foot. Reverse table. Push your hands down and apart. Lift your chest. Move your shoulders back. Then push your feet down, hands down. Lift your hips up. Tailbone toward the ceiling, shoulders back, lift your chin, keep your head level with your spine. Lower your hips, extend your legs straight. All right, pull your right knee towards you. You're gonna do half lotus again with the option to take your second leg into full lotus, or you're gonna fold it underneath you. So you'll see what I'm talking about. Pull your right heel toward your hip. Do all the same work. Open your right knee to the right using your hip. Keep heel connected. Now from here, slide your foot up on top of your thigh. And then again, you can prop, stay here in half lotus and just breathe here, hang out. Or option one, lean back on your hands. Keep pushing your outer right foot into your thigh and keep clamping your heel toward your hip. Very important. Bend your left knee. You might get this far. That might be it. Or bend it all the way so your foot's flat on the floor. If your knee starts to feel like it's pinching or something's going to tear, don't come this far. Come back out to a point where that's not happening. Now from here you can stay, or you can just flip your knee to the left so that your right knee is on top of your left foot. And that can be your lotus for today. Or you can, from here, point your right knee more to the right and then lean onto your right hip. Looks kind of like this. And then you're going to take your left hand to your left ankle, lean back on your right hand and hip, pull your left heel toward your left sitting bone, and then slide it up over the smallest point, and then plop your butt back down. And that can be complicated. You might know an easier way to get into it. That's just a really good way to exaggerate the actions to keep your knees safe in this position. Now, if you're in this position or if you're in the other position with your leg folded underneath you, still push both outer feet toward the floor into your thighs. Lift your outer ankles up away from your thighs. And then you can just hang out here, place your hands on your thighs and pretend to meditate or meditate. And just take a few slow, deep, even breaths. And gently open your eyes. In order to come out, you want to come out with as much care as you got into the pose. You're going to slide your left heel a little to the left. Keep your heel clamping in like you're trying to touch your sitting bone, and then slide it down over the smallest part of your ankle. And then pull your right heel to the right to undo yourself. And then just extend your legs out straight, tone your thighs, flare your toes, lift your kneecaps. Take a moment. Acknowledge your efforts. And let's go for the other side. Left leg in first. Pull your heel in. Keep your heel close to your hip. And then point your knee slowly out. Keep heel to hip. Point your toes. Slide your foot to the top of your thigh. Maybe stay here, maybe prop up. Boom. Or left hand, lean to the left. Bend your right knee. Grab your right foot. Lean more to the left. Pull heel to hip. And then slide. Foot. Plop. And then once you're there, you're there. Again, you can opt for just this variation here. Once you're in your position, sit and connect to your breath. Hands on your knees or wherever comfortable. Lift your lower back in and up. Root down through your sitting bones and lengthen through the top of your head. This is a very traditional meditation posture. The idea is to bind everything up at the root so all the energy can reach up to the top of your head, generating the quality that you would want to reach enlightenment. But that may or may not happen to you today. And that's okay if it doesn't. Then slowly take your hands to your top foot, slide it a little to the right, and then slide your heel down off the smallest part of your ankle. Then pull your left leg to the left, slide it off. And then extend your legs out in front of you, tone your thighs, flare your toes, lift your kneecaps. Dandasana. For Uttanasana, walk your hands back a few inches. You can turn your fingers straight ahead and close your fingers for the traditional form, or turn your fingers out. That's easier on the wrist. Whichever one you want to do today. Move your shoulders back, bend your elbows, lean back, then lift your chest, straighten your arms. This might be where you stay. Or push hands down, feet down, lift your hips, point your toes, try to reach your toes to the floor, head in line with your spine. Lower all the way down. Make sure your sitting bones are on the floor. For Paschimottanasana, intense west stretch. Feel free to bend your knees, ribs to thighs. Fold forward, heart first, head last. Grab shins, ankles, or feet. Widen elbows to the sides as you fold. Then once you're folded forward all the way, let your elbows drop into your shins, squeezing in. Push heels down and apart. Rest your face either on your shins or use a blanket under your head, a block, or just let your head be neutral with your spine. Next inhale, lengthen your spine, slowly sit back up. Then slide down onto your back. From inside your legs, grab outside your feet, happy baby. Push feet into hands, hands into feet. Feel free to gently rock side to side, massage your back muscles. And then if you'd like, you can bend and straighten your knees one at a time. And slide your hands down to the tops of your ankles, pull heels toward your sitting bones, and just push your shins into your hands until your knees go wide. Relax your legs, but keep your hands actively holding your legs up. And hold here for a few more breaths. Supta Baddha Konasana variation. Use your arms to press your legs back up and wrap your arms around your legs. Give yourself a hug. Feel free to rock side to side. Slow, deep breaths. And whenever you feel ready, come all the way down into Shavasana. Feel free to take any form of rest that feels appropriate for you and your body today. Maybe that's on your back, your belly, your side, legs up the wall, or in seated meditation. Just allow yourself to be here just as you are in this present moment. Letting things be just as they are. Rest your attention on the space between the thoughts and see how long you can keep your attention there. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. Have a wonderful rest of your day.